Does that make sense, what I'm doing?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
Do we put these on now?
Yep. And by the way, most people tell me they like the second one better because they knew what to expect. Yeah.
There's our commercial.
See, I put it right on before you come. That's what I usually do. That's what's cool about the commercials. The more they hear ya, the better it is. And you'll talk about all that stuff. Don't worry about it. Oh, I'm gonna let you do this part. I just want to put this over here so I have it next. Okay, go ahead. You want that? You don't need it. Talk to me from your heart. Okay? Ready? So welcome back, everyone. This is going to be a very, very great interview because I have had them on several times before. I want everyone to listen up because this is all that we've been hearing today. It's interesting that we've been talking about aging in its own way, and we're ending with this, which is so perfect. Okay, so I'm going on here. We're live on Facebook. I do want to say hi to everybody out there. Like us and follow us. We're going to share the show later on. I'm first going to introduce Kelly Fisher, who's the VP of ADVISA Care Arizona. They have two places, both in Gilbert and Tucson. You have someone special with you that you brought last time, and I'm going to let you introduce her once again for this time, and then we're going to kind of let this segue on its own here. Go ahead.
All right, well, thank you, Carol. It's always fun to come here and talk about end-of-life care and hospice. It's something we're very passionate about, so we're excited to be here again. And Elizabeth Frazier has been the Director of Operations working with me now for 3 years and growing in her leadership skills. And I shared earlier that I'll be transitioning my role out of the VP role into doing consulting. I've reached that time where I can pull back a little bit, and I'm very excited. And it's really wonderful to know that Elizabeth will be stepping in as the interim VP and grow into the VP role. ADVISA Care is very excited about that for her.
And so are we, because now you'll be coming on and representing them. And we're going to talk a little bit about, I want to talk about your position too, and what you do when you go on these visits, and why it's so important for people to understand what the end of life looks like. I think that's very important. Get up on that mic real close there, and I want you to tell them all about that.
All right, so when we go out on a visit, our goal is to really educate the community and to educate families and the patients really about what the hospice service is, and have people understand that coming onto hospice sooner rather than later and how it benefits them. It's not just about that 11th hour when you're actively passing away. We really find it sad when we have patients that come on at that time, and it's very disheartening to us because there's so much more to the program that we have to offer, from symptom management to helping support the family and loved ones, bereavement services, we have volunteer services, and everybody comes together and rallies around that patient and whoever their support network is. And it's kind of a whole package deal that benefits them for several months, if not longer.
Right. And you never know how long it could actually take you.
Absolutely.
And what's nice is to have somebody there like you to be able to make it, that journey, that's another journey that makes it so much nicer and easier, and you educate. I think that's really important. Not only are we educating the audience right now, but you educate the families as to what happens with this, and it's not a bad thing, it's a beautiful thing.
Death and dying can be a very beautiful process, and education really is key, and taking that fear away and that stigma that really everywhere, but in the United States, we do a really terrible job of supporting our loved ones when they're passing away. There's a lot of fear that comes with it, and trying to get behind the families, the multi-generational families, having the children participate, normalizing it, getting in bed with your loved one, regardless of their age, because not everybody we take care of is elderly. We do have some young patients, and just normalizing the process of everything that we do.
It's a wonderful thing that you offer. Now, I want you to make sure that you put these numbers in your phone too, because this is the kind of thing when we never know, but it's the sooner, the better. That's
Absolutely.
number one. So the Gilbert number is 480-284-4600, and Tucson is 520-372-4365. And their website is ADVISAcare.com. They do complimentary evaluations, right? And that is something, do you do that? Or can you tell me a little bit how that works?
So actually, everything we do is covered by the Medicare benefit,
I was
so.
just gonna ask that.
Yeah, so when we get a phone call, whether it's from a facility, a hospital, doctor's office, or even just somebody looked us up on Google, our liaisons will go out, they'll meet you wherever you're at, whether you're at home or still in the hospital. They'll talk to you about all the benefits and services that we provide, and actually everything that we do is covered by Medicare. We do have some instances where we have some younger folks that aren't Medicare eligible yet, and they do have private insurance, and actually a lot of the commercial insurances and the Medicaid plans do cover hospice services as well.
So we're gonna be talking a little bit about myths, so that's one of them, right? And you just said it because we're going in here, and you can't say everything at one time, so you're gonna give me a chance to ask the
All right.
question, okay?
So sorry, Carol.
So hospice comes to the patient. Let's talk about that, because you said it fast, and I want them to hear that. Go ahead.
Yeah, so a lot of times people think of hospice, they think of it's a building that they're gonna go to, and it's really not. It's wherever you live. We bring the services to you, whether you live in a facility, assisted living, long-term care, or you're at home, we come right to you.
And again, they don't have to be on your last leg, okay?
No.
So explain that too, because that's how I think a lot of people, when you talk about a myth, that's when they think they're calling, they're really, they see them in their bed, they're, I don't wanna use the words, so you say it, I don't know how to say it.
So hospice isn't specifically for that 11th hour. So it's when you have a terminal diagnosis, you've kind of exhausted all of the treatments, possible treatments, or you just don't want to treat any longer, and you are towards that end of life, and we can come in and we can help support your emotional health, spiritual health, physical health, doing symptom management, making you have the best days of whatever you have. And we don't have a crystal ball that tells us what that is. Some people come on for a couple of weeks, some people are on for several months, and as long as you have that diagnosis, and we can continue to support you.
Here's something else that you do that people may not realize, is that you support the entire family.
Correct. Everything that we do is about the patient and the family, and we actually stay with the family for a minimum of 13 months, going through a bereavement program and staying connected, checking on them. There's a lot of those firsts that come around that people don't realize how hard it's going to hit them or how it's going to hit them. So we do stick with them for quite a bit of time.
That's awesome, because I think that's something that I wish I would have had, I remember when my father was passing away, and I didn't understand any of it. And I think that's great that you can come in and help them understand. It's like kind of step by step. When somebody is given, and I'm going off of all of this for a minute here, they're given this diagnosis. And we've talked about this a couple times before, that we want to talk about, they, like you said, they may not pass away right away, and they want to live their life. And I want to talk a little bit about how you help people be able to do that. It's not about laying in bed and going, this is it, I'm, gone for this world or whatever. It's very different. I want you to be able to explain that.
So if you think about it, if you're not on hospice today, you're up doing things, and then tomorrow you're on hospice, you're not laying in a bed. You're still living your life, and we want to make the best of it and the most of it. So one of the things that we like to do, we want to find out what's important to you. What do you want to do? Is there a holiday that maybe isn't right around the corner that we can bring a little earlier? Is there maybe a family member that's deployed that you're waiting for them to come back, or the birth? Some people, they want to go to the casino one last time without a medical person standing right there. So we give them a little physical therapy and get them strong enough where they can get in and out of the car on their own with a loved one. We've had people go on fishing trips and hunting trips and all kinds of things. I don't want to call it a make-a-wish, but it
But
kind of
somewhat.
is. Like, what do you want to accomplish and achieve in those last final days?
And isn't that awesome that they can actually provide that? You know, when you think about it, you always think that they're just standing there, you know, and then coming out of the room and saying, just a few more days, you know. It's not like that. It's just not. And we're laughing at it, which is a wonderful thing that we can laugh at it, but this is a process that people don't understand, and there's a lot of different myths out there, and they're trying to educate the public to understand what it is. The phone number to call in Gilbert is 480-284-4600. In Tucson, it's 520-372-4365. Check them out on their website, which is ADVISA.care.com. They do complimentary evaluations. They're valley-wide and in Tucson and in East, West, and Central Phoenix.
Correct.
So the best thing that you can do is, like we've been saying today, make that phone call, get the consultation, find out what this is all about. Maybe it's you, maybe it's for someone that you love and know. Tell them about this. ADVISAcare.com. Hang tight, we'll be back in just a minute.
All right.
Was it that bad?
No.
You were pretty good.
She took me
Great.
good.
I think
She
you did
did
phenomenal. And we're not done.
I
So
know.
we're gonna keep on
Let's
talking
go.
here.
Let's keep going.
Yeah, so let's keep on talking. What's your favorite part about what you do?
I think that finding those joyful moments, they are there, even though it is sad to lose a loved one. You can always find those joyful moments, and if you are a part of it as the provider coming from our organization, great. Or if you're the one hearing about it when you go visit them and the family afterwards, there's some very precious moments that can be found.
I think that's the greatest answer right there. I do think what I love about what you guys do, and we've talked about these stories of people who, they want something that they want to do one more time, one last time. I can't imagine. I mean, I'd have to think about what it is. Some people have asked me what my final meal would be, and I got that ready. But, you know, but that's also could be part of it, too.
Absolutely.
Oh, very much.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, and I'm sure
Mhm.
there's a lot of people that might even say something like
There's
that.
a lot of talk about food in hospice. Would you rather have a bowl of pills, or would you rather eat what you want? At some point in life, calories are calories, and if you want to eat a bowl of ice cream, go for it. There's no rule, and sometimes that's hard, especially for children, is to say, oh, my mom needs these vitamins, she needs to eat protein, she needs to have a Ensure drink, and that's something that we very much educate about, is that if I'm gonna fill you with Ensure, you're not gonna wanna eat real food because your body has the calories it needs. Your body almost goes back to that infantile state where a baby doesn't overeat. They eat till they're satisfied
That's right.
and full. Their body says, I have enough calories. Well, when we're older, our bodies do that same thing. So if you're pumping them full of Ensure, they're not gonna wanna eat the good food.
You know, it's funny that you mention this because I'll never forget when my grandmother passed away. That was a long time ago now. And when before she passed, she was in the hospital and she asked for ice cream.
Gonna be your final meal.
It's on my list.
It's gonna be on mine too, I
Okay.
know exactly what I want.
Yeah.
But, so just like you said, her son, my uncle, said, should she be having that because of the calories? And the nurse turned to him and said, she can have whatever she wants.
Yep.
That's right.
You know, and that was, you know, a very long time ago. I know, it's interesting because I think that's where the children come involved with, like you'll say, they will say, well, should they? And they're gonna try and get involved, and what do you do when that starts to happen? Or try and tell you, you know, do you know what I'm saying?
You try the adult children, you just really try to continue educating them and encouraging them. Ultimately, you don't want to fight with them, but you can just give them the tools, and that's a decision for them.
We're still here talking during the break, which I love when we do the 30 minutes because we get to do that. And I was asking you, because I'm going to let you say it on air too. because we were talking a little bit about how children, they get involved, they have a big involvement with it, but sometimes they may not, they want the best, I know they want the best, but maybe not the best is always all the time.
It is very challenging. You know, we were talking about nutrition and eating, and we are a chicken soup society, and we feed our sick. That's very common amongst many cultures around the world, and since we are a melting pot here, we see a lot of that. And that is a very common conversation about, do I want my mom to have a bowl of pills, or do I want my mom to enjoy food, or what kind of food? Everybody likes to push protein and Ensure drinks, and if I'm giving you Ensure, you might not want to eat regular food. So it is a constant education. We're not gonna fight or argue about it, but I'm gonna give you the knowledge, and then hopefully it's a conversation between the patient and their loved ones that they can come to an agreement. But it's a hard release for a lot of family members to let go of that because of that chicken soup mentality.
Yeah, I remember when my dad was home and he had a lot of medications, and they were gonna add one. And I had come down to visit, and my brother asks me, should Dad be taking this next pill? And I'm like, I don't know. But he's sitting right there, why don't you ask Dad, you know? Because I was wondering, why would you ask me that question? I really don't know that answer. And my dad was like, let's get this show on the road, I want the pill, you know? But that's where it was difficult for us, because we didn't have someone like you to help us understand. Even I didn't understand what the pill did, you know, or whatever. So it's very important that we have these conversations, number one, and doing them earlier.
Absolutely.
I think that's so important, because people don't know when this is going to happen, but when should they call?
I think when you start to see changes in your loved one, maybe physically, mentally, maybe you're having to assist them more or prompt more, sometimes it's a catastrophic event that brings us into the picture. If you find that your loved one's making frequent visits to the hospital or to the emergency room, they have increased falls. A lot of elderly in Arizona tend to fall through the gaps. They just stop going to their PCP, they lose track of them, and they kind of become shut in, or they just become a revolving door, and then the emergency room kind of becomes their family, and they're put it back together, and the thought process is lost to call hospice in when they see those declines.
I think it's so important to have that conversation and do it as early as you can.
Absolutely.
If you know somebody has been diagnosed with something like this, they can call, you can start to educate them early on, am I right?
Absolutely. It's, you know, you might have a terminal diagnosis, but you might not be ready for hospice. So there is a difference. I might have congestive heart failure, but I'm not ready for that. I still have a lot of life in me. And so it's finding those markers, and even if you have me come in and have a conversation and educate you, what do I need to look for that Medicare will say, okay, now it's time to start giving these extra supportive services. There's no harm in me coming early and saying, you know what, you're not ready. This isn't your time. You still got a lot of life to live in you.
I would love to hear that.
Right?
Yes.
It'd be a great consultation, wouldn't it?
Wouldn't it be? My father was going to say he had congestive heart failure for like 15 years.
Yeah, it can go on for a
You know,
long
it's
time.
not something that necessarily, they all think that that's it, and it's really not the case. I want to talk about, too, we've gone along these, your strong closing statement. What would that be?
So hospice really is not about dying in the moment. It's about what are you going to do with the time that you have. It's not about that 11th hour. It's how do we make life and live it to the fullest with what you got.
So in terms of that, we're going to expand on that a little bit, okay? Because there's so many people who want different things. And I mean, I know that we talked about the one that wanted to shoot a bear, guy wanted to shoot a bear. That's pretty out there. I mean, so how far can you go, you know, with some people that might want the most craziest things?
Ooh. I don't know, Kelly, how far have you gone in with your request?
I mean,
You've had
that's
some
kind of
doozies.
it. I think
it's
I want to
really-
shoot a bear is huge.
And actually, that was pretty normal for Wisconsin.
Absolutely.
I was surprised by that request, but not everyone in his family. So that's where the family will step in, and the education and support to help them. How do they help you achieve whatever goal you want to achieve? We were talking earlier, there was a teacher that wanted to go put her feet in the Pacific Ocean, and how would she do that? It was pretty challenging. She had one lung removed from cancer, so she couldn't go in a plane. It wouldn't be safe for her. So just getting her family to get everyone together that would take her from Wisconsin out to the Pacific Ocean was just an amazing accomplishment. And when she got there, she did get her feet in the ocean on a beach chair. She had 2 drinks, one in each hand, and she had a picture taken and sent that back to us. So it was really a celebration for her, but it was all her family, friends, volunteers, and we just helped to
Facilitate
yes,
it.
facilitate that opportunity.
Yeah, I think that's just so cool.
It really
And,
is.
I mean, I can't imagine what that would have taken for them, because they had to drive, right, and probably had to use several family members, and for them to all, and you put that into place.
We do.
What a wonderful thing.
We've
You
had
know?
so many different stories like that. We could write a book about it.
I know.
Yes,
Mhm.
but that's one of the joys. I think in our country, and what we're trying to do at ADVISA Care is just remind everyone that it is a natural part of our life, and what's really important is bringing the community together. It's not just your family, it's everyone in our community. It's part of humanity. We're here at this time as human beings. How do we help each other, and how do we
I'm
have that
getting
end of
goosebumps.
life? Well, when you pull the community in, and our volunteers are so significant for that part of it, it's amazing what the experience can become. So that woman had family and friends and volunteers that were involved in getting her from the middle of the country to the West Coast. And we have that in the simplest form in some of our volunteer activities right here in Arizona. People taking people to the casino, that's a very big one here. No one's asked to shoot a bear in Arizona, but the fishing has been a big thing too. People.
Yeah, we've had fishing trip, we've had a San Diego trip, to the beach.
Yeah,
We've had a couple of really fun stuff.
So,
We've had a wedding,
Yes.
we've had a
Wow.
hospice wedding, that was pretty beautiful.
I bet.
Yeah, that was neat.
That's
that was,
gonna be me.
That was a neat one.
No, I, when you were talking about the community, and I love that we're just doing this here like this, but when you talk about the community, one thing about our communities today, a lot of us shut in. We go into our house, that garage door goes down, we stay in it until we have to come out. We're deep inside, we don't hear anything that's going on. Why don't we change that?
Yes.
And that's huge, right?
Yes.
And also, I would like to say too, there's somebody in your neighborhood that you know that is, the elderly, right?
Yes.
Don't just leave them alone.
Yeah.
Maybe go on the door, have yourself go up to the door, knock on the door, and say, hello, how
Check
are
on
you?
them.
Check on them.
Mhm.
That's
What do you
right.
think?
I think it's a great idea. I love that the community comes together within hospice. Volunteers, some of them come from family members that had a better experience. We have a nurse who was on staff. Her brother tragically passed away in transport on his way home. And when she interviewed for the job, we were talking about this story, about going above and beyond and taking care of him because it was the family's wish. And come to find out, she said, well, that was my brother, that's why I want to come work for you. And so it is all about the community and having those great experiences, and then they come back and they volunteer to share what they experienced as well.
There's a lot of people out there, there's a lot of people out there that don't have family.
Absolutely.
And I think that's part of what we are trying to share with the community as well, that it's about the community. You don't have to have what's traditionally family. You can have members of the community step up. And at all ages, if we can engage, we have high school students who will come in. We even have elementary school that will do different projects like make cards and write letters to the seniors. But it's a wonderful thing to help normalize the end of life in America. We kind of lost track of that. And that's what we're trying to slowly but surely bring back, a sense of community and just get engaged, volunteer. It could be something very simple like hosting a tea party or taking someone fishing, or it could be regular visiting. we'll look at the whole spectrum of how can the community become involved.
I love that. Next time, let's talk about, go deeper on that, because
right.
I think that is wonderful. People need to hear it.
Yes.
The phone number in Gilbert is 480-284-4600, or Tucson at 520-372-4365. It's ADVISAcare.com.
All right.
Elizabeth, you did so well.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, you did it. I was thinking, should I just like roll away? You did great.
You should not just roll away.
I was
Raise it,
holding
sure.
the chair.
I know.
She was trying to wiggle, and I was like, I'm holding this chair, I'm not gonna let her wiggle away. Oh my God.
So you can see the difference with what that is, and, you know, I think when I like about it is it's just such a smoother ride, you know? And, hold on tight here,